A few months ago, I let an old friend crash at my place for a couple weeks. He was charming, paid rent on time, cooked freaking pasta from scratch. Yesterday, debt collectors showed up with my name on his mess. I checked my credit report. He opened 3 credit cards and a car lease, using my damn identity. I let him in because he smiled. That's how it started. It had been 7 years since I last saw Josh. We grew up on the same street in South Chicago, traded Game Boy cartridges, and fought off bullies together. But after high school, he dipped. East Coast. Big dreams. We lost touch. Then one morning, out of nowhere, I get a Facebook message. Yo, bro. I'm in town for a bit. Wanna catch up? I was surprised, but not suspicious. We met up for coffee. He looked sharp. Fresh cut, clean sneakers, nice watch. A bit too nice, maybe. But hey, if you told me back in '08 that Josh would be successful, I'd believe you. He always had that smooth talker charm. We talked for hours. Old stories, dumb jokes, the remember when type of stuff. Then he hit me with it. So, I'm kinda in between places right now. Crashed at my cousin's, but it's a mess. You got space? My brain said red flag, but my heart said it's Josh. I had a spare room. He moved in the next day. At first, it was easy. He helped cook, cleaned up after himself, even brought me coffee some mornings. Said he was working on some startup thing. Didn't go into details. Always typing, pacing, late night calls. I figured it was tech stuff. I didn't ask. Then weird shit started happening. I got a letter from my bank saying I'd been pre-approved for a platinum credit card, which was strange, because I hadn't applied. Then two more came, one from a car dealership, another from some loan service I'd never heard of, and my regular debit card, it got declined at the grocery store with $2,400 still in my account. That's when my gut started screaming. Now imagine what happens next. But before that, smash that like button and hit subscribe, cause the craziest part is just getting started. I tried to ignore it, that little itch in the back of my head. Maybe the bank was glitching, maybe someone typoed an address. But then I opened my mailbox. Nothing, and I mean literally nothing. No utility bills, no credit card statements, not even junk mail. Which made 0 sense. I'd always get tons of spam, local coupons, political flyers, random crap. Then I found one of the envelopes opened, folded, tucked under the toaster, like someone checked it, realized it wasn't meant for them, and just hid it. That's when I started watching. Josh would leave the apartment most mornings around 9. He said he was working out of a shared space downtown, but I never once saw him bring a laptop. Hell, I don't even know if he had one. And when I came home early on a Wednesday, my key jammed a bit in the lock. It felt like someone had messed with it, like it had been rekeyed or forced. I couldn't tell. Inside, Josh was sitting at the kitchen table, typing on my iPad. He looked up and grinned. Yo, I was just checking the scores. Didn't know you were coming home early. That grin, the kind of grin you don't fully trust, but can't call out either. I nodded, said nothing, and took my damn iPad to my room. That night, I went full paranoid, locked my bedroom door, checked every drawer, and started going through my emails, bank accounts, credit reports. That's when I found it. A brand new credit card account opened in my name using my address with a phone number I didn't recognize. And worse, there was a charge. $2,300 for a MacBook Pro. Shipped. Delivered. Signed for. By someone named J. Carter. Josh's full name, Joshua Daniel Carter. My stomach dropped through the floor. The next morning, I didn't go to work. I stayed home, pretended I had a cold. At 10:14 a.m., a UPS guy rang the buzzer. Josh was already at the door. He opened it fast like he was waiting for it. He signed the tablet, package in hand, brown box, discreet label. He didn't even glance back at me. I waited until he went into his room. Then I checked the trash. Right on top, the torn shipping label with my name. But his email, this wasn't a mistake. This wasn't a glitch. This was a goddamn operation. I didn't sleep that night. Every sound felt like a threat. My heart was pounding, my mind racing. What else did he do? What else did he have? Social security, tax info, my damn Wi-Fi password. I'd let the guy into my home and he was slowly dismantling my life, one transaction at a time. And the worst part, I still couldn't prove anything. He hadn't stolen cash. He hadn't broken in. He was just me on paper. I couldn't keep pretending. Not after what I saw in the trash. Not after the fake credit card, the stolen shipping label, the the $2,300 MacBook. But what do you even do when the thief is in your house laughing at your jokes and drinking your damn almond milk? I had no proof that would stand in court, just instincts, and a pit in my stomach that wouldn't go away. So I tried the casual confrontation route. That night, we were eating takeout. Josh was talking about some crypto coin like he knew what the hell he was saying. It's all about early access, bro. You get in before the wave, you're golden. Everyone else chases shadows. I wasn't even listening. I sipped my drink and said, "Hey, random question. You didn't, by any chance, use my name to order a laptop or anything, right?" He blinked. "What?" "I dunno." I shrugged. "Just got a weird charge. Maybe a glitch, or identity theft or something." Josh laughed loud and loose. "Bro, no offense, but if I was gonna scam someone, I'd pick a dude with more than $4,000 in his account." Then he winked. He fucking winked. It was the kind of wink you'd give someone when you're daring them to push it further. He wanted to see how much I knew. He was toying with me. I laughed to tight, fake, and changed the subject. That night, I moved every important doc I had into my backpack and stuffed it under my bed. Passport, social security, birth certificate, everything. I even unplugged my Wi-Fi router and changed all my passwords using my phone's hotspot. Still, I didn't feel safe. The next morning, I woke up to find the front door wide open. Not like ajar, like fully, unapologetically open. Josh was gone. His room looked untouched. Nothing missing, nothing packed. But the open door, it screamed something. It screamed, "Don't get comfortable." I started working from home more. Pretended it was for mental health. Really, I just didn't want to leave my stuff alone. One night I came home from a late grocery run, and my laptop was on. I hadn't left it that way. Battery at 17%. Google Chrome still open. My Amazon account logged in. Someone had searched external SSD encrypted. I don't even own an SSD. That's when I snapped. I barged into Josh's room. He was sitting there like nothing happened, watching some YouTube video on his phone. "You been on my computer?" He looked up, all fake confusion. "What? No, man. Why would I do that?" "You sure?" "Because someone was on it. And it wasn't me." "You saying I'm hacking you now?" "No, I'm saying someone is. And you live here and you don't exactly seem like a stranger to my stuff." He stood up slowly. "Calm. You know what? If you think I'm doing something shady, just say it." "Fine. I think you're doing something shady." He smirked. "Cool. Glad we're being honest." And just like that, he sat back down, put his headphones in, and ignored me. I felt insane, gaslit in my own apartment, staring at a guy who was clearly scamming me, and yet somehow I was the one walking away feeling like the bad guy. I wanted to throw him out, call the cops, change the locks, but I also knew how this would look. No bruises, no theft I could prove, just paranoia, just feelings, just a bunch of blurry lines. And Josh knew it. I did what anyone paranoid, broke, and desperate would do. I bought a camera on Amazon. Well, two, actually. They were cheap, small, motion activated. Not exactly James Bond level gear, but good enough. I hid one in the living room behind the Wi-Fi router. The other I tucked into a fake box of cereal on top of the fridge. Yeah, I know how that sounds. But when your identity is being eaten from the inside and the thief smiles at you over dinner, you get creative. Josh didn't suspect a thing. He still walked around like he owned the place. Slept in late, blasted TikToks without headphones, left dishes for later that never came. But mostly, he spent time in his room. Door locked, curtains shut, phone calls at night in a hushed tone. I couldn't hear the words, but I caught enough. "Yeah, I got it." "No, he doesn't know. I'll move it tomorrow. It's already linked." "Chill." Every conversation was like a puzzle missing half the pieces. But one thing was clear, he was up to something. And he was getting careless. The first few days of footage, nothing too wild. He watched Netflix on my account. He took calls while walking in circles with my hoodie on. One time, he stole my frozen burrito and acted like he bought it. But on day 5, I saw him take my mail. He walked in, flipped through the stack like he'd done it 100 times, and plucked one envelope with my bank's logo on it. Then he walked to the kitchen, opened it with a knife, read it, and get this, photographed it with his phone. My name, my account number, right there on screen. Then he dropped the letter in the trash and went to make eggs. No hesitation, no guilt, just vibes. That night I watched the footage over and over. I paused at his expression. Calm, focused, almost bored. This wasn't a guy who slipped up once. This was routine. I finally had what I needed. Proof. I downloaded the clip to my phone, backed it up to Google Drive, and even emailed it to myself just in case. And for the first time in weeks I felt like I had leverage. So I waited. Next morning, Josh was in the kitchen scrolling his phone like he had no idea he was starring in his own true crime episode. I sat down across from him. My heart was thudding. "Hey," I said, "can we talk?" He looked up slowly. "What's up?" I played the clip on my phone and slid it across the table. He watched. Quiet. No emotion. Just chewing on cereal like it was a YouTube vlog. When it ended, he wiped his mouth and said, "Dude, you're filming me?" I blinked. "That's your takeaway? You're spying on me in the apartment we share? That's some sketch shit." Man, my jaw tightened. "You stole my mail?" "Allegedly, no, on camera." "You literally okay? Okay, relax." He laughed. "It was one envelope. It was my effing bank, Jesus." "Bro, you sound insane." He stood up, grabbed his bowl, and started rinsing it in the sink. "Look, you're clearly stressed. You've been acting weird for weeks. Maybe take a break. Go out, touch grass or something." He patted my shoulder on the way out like I was the problem. I wanted to scream. Instead, I sent the clip to my bank and called their fraud line. I filed a police report online. I even printed screenshots and highlighted my name and the timestamp. I thought, this is it. This is how I get my life back. Spoiler, nothing happened. Bank said they'd investigate. Police never followed up. My report sat somewhere in digital purgatory, collecting virtual dust. And Josh, he brought home a new monitor the next day. That's when I started cracking. I became obsessive. I stayed up all night monitoring motion alerts. I watched hours of footage hoping for a smoking gun. I unplugged everything when I left the apartment. Laptop, TV, router gone into a locked drawer. I even started writing a log timestamps, behaviors, phrases he used, like some loser detective in his own house. And the worst part, he knew. He effing knew. He started joking more. "Careful, man. You don't want the feds seeing that footage. Should I start paying rent with Venmo or just slip cash into your cereal box? What if I'm not real? What if I'm, like, a glitch in your simulation?" He was enjoying it. Then came the night I came home and the camera feed was dead. Both of them. No signal. Offline. The app just said no devices connected. I ran to the living room. Router light was blinking. Kitchen cereal box looked untouched. But the cameras? Gone. Just gone. I checked my backup files. Deleted. Every single one. The folder I'd synced to Google Drive? Empty. The email I'd sent to myself? Attachment unavailable. Even the screenshot on my phone somehow corrupted. Can't display preview. It felt like he'd reached inside my digital brain and wiped it clean. I sat in the dark for hours. No music. No lights. No Josh. He wasn't home. At 12 a.m., I got a text, "Don't trust the cloud." That's when I realized the game was still on. But I wasn't the one setting the traps anymore. I didn't leave my room the entire next day. I barely moved. Didn't eat. Didn't shower. I just sat there, blinds drawn, hoodie up, phone on silent, staring at a screen that refused to give me back the only proof I had. I was starting to lose track of time, of reality. Was any of this real? Was I going insane? But I wasn't imagining the missing money, the new accounts, the shipments, the effing open front door. None of that was in my head. And yet, no one else seemed to care. Around noon, I heard Josh laughing in the kitchen. His voice was loud, relaxed, like nothing had happened. I cracked the door. He was on FaceTime with my mom. "Yeah, ma'am, I'm making sure he eats. You know how he locks himself up, forgets to eat, to sleep, to breathe. He's fine, I promise." What the actual fuck? I stepped into the hallway. "Mom," she looked up on the screen, surprised. "Honey, finally, I've been calling you." I looked at Josh. He was still smiling, like we were in a sitcom. "Why are you calling her?" I asked, ice in my voice. She was worried. He shrugged. "You weren't answering. That's not your place. Someone had to do it. You're manipulating her." He chuckled. "Bro, relax." She literally thanked me for checking in. "Give me the phone." He handed it over like nothing. My mom's voice was soft, but firm. "Sweetheart, I know you're stressed. Josh says you haven't been sleeping. I just want to make sure you're okay." "Mom, don't trust anything he says. He's not who you think he is." There was a pause. "He said you might say that, and that's why I'm worried." Boom. Just like that. He'd preempted it, twisted it, made me sound paranoid before I even opened my mouth. Later that day, I got a text from my landlord. Hey man, can you keep the noise down at night? Your roommate said there's been a lot of slamming doors and yelling. I stared at the message. Slamming doors and yelling. I hadn't made a sound. Josh was building a effing narrative. He started bringing people over, new friends, loud ones. He threw on music, hosted games in the living room, took group selfies like it was spring break. And when I finally walked out to grab food, one of the girls looked at me like I was the effing crypt keeper. Dude, is that him? She whispered. The crazy one? Josh just laughed. Don't mind him. He's just on some weird tech cleanse. No screens, no talking. Like monk mode or something. They all laughed. My hands were shaking as I opened the fridge. All my labeled food containers, gone. My shelf was empty. I texted him. Stop. You're pushing it too far. He replied instantly. You started it. I tried calling the bank again. Sat on hold for 40 minutes. They said my claim was still under review. Told me to gather more documentation if possible. The cops, still nothing. I called twice, left voicemails. No call back. Josh, meanwhile, kept smiling. That weekend, I walked into the kitchen and found a printout on the table. It was a fake message thread. Screenshots. Between me and some girl full of creepy, obsessive texts. Stuff I never wrote. Stuff like, you can't ignore me forever. I see you're online. Why are you posting thirst traps when you won't answer me? All fake. All fake usernames. All designed to make me look like a stalker. And at the top, written in pen, just a heads up, he left it there. On purpose. I snapped again, stormed into his room. What the fuck is this? He looked up, headphones still on. What's what? I threw the paper at him. You trying to frame me now? Make me look like a fucking psycho? He didn't even flinch. Don't flatter yourself. Nobody's that interested in you. You're sick. Man, this is actually sick. He stood up, calm, controlled. You're unstable. You're losing it. You think you're the victim here, but maybe, just maybe, you're not. I wanted to hit him. I didn't. Instead, I walked away, but not before he muttered, should have just let me stay a few weeks like I asked. That night, I got an email from my employer. Subject: behavioral concerns. They'd received an anonymous tip about my erratic conduct and were requesting a meeting. I knew exactly who sent it. Josh wasn't just scamming me. He was erasing me, bit by bit, friend by friend, day by day. And the worst part, he was doing it with a smile. I knew I couldn't keep playing defense. I was losing ground. My mom thought I was paranoid. My landlord saw me as unstable. My job was now monitoring my behavior. And Josh, he just kept living rent-free in my apartment and in my effing head. So I did something I should have done weeks ago. I went digging. I started with his social media. His Instagram looked normal, curated, chill, lots of travel shots. But I noticed something strange for someone supposedly in between places. He sure had a lot of photos from expensive hotels. And none of them had tags. No friends, no family. Just him, solo, in front of rented cars, empty beaches, room service trays. His Facebook, basically dead. His LinkedIn, still listed him as COO at a stealth fintech startup. No mentions of it anywhere else. But the gold mine was in the comments. One post, 6 months old. A photo of him in Miami, holding a champagne bottle by the pool. One comment stood out, still ghosting everyone. Huh, guess some things never change. It was from a woman. Profile name, @SarahMiles33. No reply from Josh. But something about it felt off. So I messaged her. Hey, this is random. I know you probably don't know me, but I live with Josh Carter. Just wondering if you know him personally. Didn't expect an answer, but 5 minutes later, she replied, are you safe? 4 words, and my heart sank. I think so. Why? Is he using your name yet? I froze. Yes. She sent me her number. We got on a call immediately. Sarah used to date Josh 3 years ago. They met on a travel app. He was charming, smart, seemed grounded. But 6 months in, her bank account got flagged for suspicious activity. Credit lines opened in her name. Emails she never sent. Calls from collectors. Same pattern. When she finally confronted him, he gaslit the hell out of her. Told her she was being hysterical. That maybe she had a drinking problem. Even told her mom that Sarah had mental health spirals. Sound familiar? She tried going to the police. Same thing. No bruises. No direct theft. Just paper trails and suspicion. By the time she realized how deep it went, he was gone. Took her laptop, her spare key, half her savings, vanished. I asked for proof. She sent screenshots, his old phone number, a copy of a lease with her address and his signature, photos of them together, even an old voice message where he said, "You seriously gonna ruin my life over some bank glitch? Grow the fuck up." It was him, no question, the same calm voice, the same smug undertone. This changed everything. I wasn't alone, and I wasn't crazy. Josh was a effing pattern. He did this before, probably more than once, and now, he'd picked me. I thanked Sarah. She said, "Be careful. If he knows you're onto him, he'll twist it. He always does." I hung up and sat in silence. For the first time in days, I felt the fog clear. This wasn't just about me. This was bigger. I opened a new note, started writing everything I remembered. Dates, charges, conversations, even his jokes. I backed it all up. Multiple drives, multiple emails, printed hard copies, filed a fresh police report, this time attaching Sarah's testimony and screenshots. And then, I did something bold. I sent Josh a message. "We need to talk. Tonight." No bullshit. He read it, didn't reply. That night, he came home late, quiet, calm. He didn't look surprised, just tired. He tossed his keys, poured himself a drink, and sat on the couch. "So, talk." I stood there for a second, staring at him. "I know what you've done." I talked to Sarah. He didn't flinch, just blinked once, slowly. "You went digging." "Yeah, and I found everything." "You think that makes you safe?" That stopped me. "Excuse me? You think knowledge protects you? It doesn't. It just makes you the next loose end." He smiled, but there was no humor in it, only warning. Josh's words replayed in my head all night. Knowledge doesn't protect you. It just makes you the next loose end. He wasn't bluffing. He said it with the calm of someone who'd said it before. I didn't sleep. Instead, I planned. Next morning, I made a list. Not mental, physical, on paper. Everything I still had access to. My work laptop, me email, barely bank apps, a burner, Finetwo flash drives, and a single friend who still believed me, my old roommate. Creasy called him. I need help. Not sympathy, not advice, just someone I can trust. He came over an hour later, armed with Red Bull, and that look you get when you know things are bad, but don't know how bad. I gave him the quick version. He didn't even question it. Man, I always thought that dude gave off psycho Tinder date vibes. Chris helped me reset all my accounts. We set up to factor everything, made offline backups, even printed out transaction histories. Then we set the trap. I created a fake online loan application, filled in just enough info to look tempting. Name mine. Email a burner one I could track. Addressed slightly wrong. Security question answers, complete fakes. We left the file open on a USB labeled taxes 2023 in a drawer Josh had snooped in before. Then I waited. 2 days passed. Nothing. I started doubting myself again. Was I being dramatic? Was this even going to work? And then, ping. A notification. New login attempt from unknown device. Email the burner I created. Timestamp 4 minutes ago. IP address our apartment. I had him. I rushed home. Josh wasn't there, but the USB was missing. I checked the fake application. Opened. Edited. Ray saved. Bait taken. I called Chris. We got him. So what now? You finally kicking his ass out? No, I'm calling a lawyer. I booked a free consult that same day. Showed them everything, screenshots, logs, witness statement from Sarah, activity history, emails. The guy sat back and whistled. This is messy, but it's real. You might finally have enough to press charges, to get the police to move, maybe even sue. For the first time in weeks, I felt like I could breathe. When I got back that evening, Josh was waiting in the living room, not smiling, just still. You had someone in the apartment, he said flatly. Yeah. A friend. That's still a crime? He didn't answer, just stared at me for a moment. You're playing a dangerous game. No, I'm just done being the guy who gets fed and stays quiet. Cute speech. He stood, walked to the hallway, paused. You ever wonder why people believe me first? Because you're good at lying. No, he said, because you're easy to replace. And then he went into his room and shut the door. I didn't see him the next morning, or that night. It was like he disappeared. His room was locked. No sounds, no lights. I figured maybe he ran, maybe I scared him off. So I called the lawyer, told him I was ready. We drafted the report, attached everything, sent it straight to the detective handling identity crimes. Done. I went to bed thinking it might finally be over. I woke up to my apartment door wide open. Again, but this time, my room was trashed. Drawers empty, laptop gone, burner phone smashed, all my printed docs ripped to shreds. Even my backpack, the one with Sarah's folder missing. Josh had waited, watched, then burned it all. There was a note taped to my wall. Just 2 words, "Nice try." The second I saw the note, I knew he'd been planning this for longer than I thought. Nice try, that smug little phrase taped to my wall like a trophy. He hadn't just stolen from me, he'd rewritten my entire effing story. I called the police again. This time, I didn't ask. I demanded. I gave them the lawyer's name, the case number, Sarah's statement, the destroyed property. They said someone would come by within 48 hours. I didn't wait. I started knocking on doors. Neighbors, people I barely knew. Third door down, Mrs. Gutierrez. Sweet older lady, always watering plants at weird hours. She opened the door and said, "He left last night. Suitcase and all. You saw him?" Of course. He waved. Said you two had a falling out and he was heading back east. Did he say where? She shook her head. But he had a bus ticket, not a plane. That was something. I called the bus station. They couldn't give me names, privacy policy, but they confirmed a ticket booked at 2:38 a.m. under the name Evan Carter, cute alias. I asked where the bus was going. They said Philadelphia. I booked the next flight out. I didn't care about legal steps anymore. Didn't care about protocol, or proof, or polite conversation. He'd made it personal. Now so would I. By the time I landed in Philly, I hadn't slept in 30 hours. My hands were shaking, and my thoughts were all fire and static. But I had one thing, his mom's address. He mentioned her once, offhand, while drunk. Said she lived in Fishtown. I remembered it. Filed it. Now it was all I had. Took me 3 hours and a lot of walking, but I found the place. Small row house. Brick. Quiet street. I knocked. No answer. Knocked again. And then the door opened. But it wasn't Josh. It was a woman in her 60s, with tired eyes and a cigarette in her hand. "Can I help you?" I hesitated. "I'm looking for Josh." Josh Carter. Her face didn't change. "Why?" "He lived with me, in Chicago. He took some things." She sighed. "Deep. Let me guess. Credit, ID, cash." I blinked. "You're not the first. You probably won't be the last. He's not here?" "No, he doesn't come here. Not anymore." "Do you know where he is?" She didn't answer right away, just looked me over, like she was measuring the weight of the damage. Then she stepped aside. "Come in." The house was small, clean, but sad. Photos on the wall, a dog bed with no dog, a faded graduation picture. Josh, younger, smiling, real. She poured me tea, sat across from me. "I know what he is," she said. "I didn't raise him like that, but somewhere along the way, he stopped being reachable. He's a sociopath." She nodded. "He's also my son." I didn't know what to say. She reached into a drawer and pulled out a small, worn notebook. "He left this here years ago. I kept it, don't know why. Maybe hoping he'd come back for it." She slid it across the table. "You want answers? Maybe they're in there." I didn't open it right away. I flew home, took a shower, sat on my bed for hours. Then finally I cracked it open. Page after page of usernames, passwords, banks, SSNs, birth dates, mine, Sarah's, 10 other names I didn't recognize, dozens of them, and in the back a single line. "The only power that matters is knowing you can ruin someone and choosing not to." My skin went cold. I handed the notebook over to the cops. My lawyer called it a slam dunk. Josh's name went into a real investigation database. Warrants, surveillance, traces. They're still looking. As for me, I moved, changed banks, new job, different city. I don't answer unknown numbers. Don't bring people home. Don't trust easy smiles anymore. But I still sleep with a backpack full of hard drives under my bed. And every now and then, I swear I feel eyes on me in a crowd, or see a face just familiar enough to freeze me in place. Because here's the thing, people like Josh, they don't stop. They just wait.